couple weeks ago, Monday Night Football. We're all fired up. Looking forward to that. A Monday that was going to be special. And then this Monday to follow is even going to be more special, maybe even locking up the AFC South. All that stuff that you were thinking about, it is now no more. Up for grabs. I have a buddy, the Sea Daddy, as I call him, that would always say whenever something bad happens, oh, no. That's the feeling that you got right now with your Jacksonville Jaguars, because right now there is trouble in Whoville. So let's begin. It is a Mokama Beer Company Monday. We invite you to voice your frustration, be a star on XL Primetime by calling the pop-off line 207-7071. And the liner says, let it fly. So definitely let it fly. Defense. All the turnovers, no run game, can't dominate the line of scrimmage. I tell you what, Leon, we got to sort through a hell of a lot today in the next 3 hours.
Oh, yeah. This team is leaking some major Valvoline, all right? Valvoline, all right? This is what this team is doing. We've essentially lost the 2 backup quarterbacks back-to-back, all right? Flipping Flacco and Browning.
Yeah.
Inability to get rush the passer. You know what's being lost in translation in all this is that we're talking about our inability to get to a quarterback, but we're not talking about the fact that you had 2 well-prepared offensive lines that blocked anything that the Jaguars brought to them. 4-man, 5-man, 6-man, blitz, whatever it did. The transitions with the twist and everything. These 2 solid offensive line, understanding what they're having to protect. Not a starter, backup guy, so they understand that their preparation and their game planning has to be more than what they're used to doing. And the Jaguars, essentially, defensively, have not been doing more than what they should be doing. We've been pretty average. You give up 300 yards passing to Joe Flacco?
This is 3 straight weeks this team has given up 300 passing yards.
Well, it's 3 straight weeks, but as our boy Gus pointed out, it is far from the first time this season that's happened. They gave up 305 to Pat Mahomes, 359 to Josh Allen, 329 to Gardner Minshew, 301 to Derek Carr, 304 to C.J. Stroud, 354 to Browning, 311 to Joe Flacco.
And that is why they're at the bottom of the heap statistically when it comes to giving up passing yards. But for a decent amount of the schedule, they had averaged giving up around 21 points per game. They were winning with that defense.
Because it was that dink and dunk offense, which largely we saw the Bengals employ, and to an extent we saw Joe Flacco employ, but he also just took advantage of some situational lack of awareness by the Jaguars.
Wide open
Fourth down opportunities where the Jags were like, oh, selling out for the run. Yeah, duh, it's 4th and 1. They're going to run it. Whoop, right over the top.
Yeah. And when you think about it, Matt, we're talking about a football team that right now, as we said, going into the Monday night game against the Cincinnati Bengals, Browns, Ravens, the AFC North. You're playing 3 of the 4. You'd already beaten the Steelers, and you were going to be favored basically in every football game.
Yeah.
That was the thought. Well, now they're an underdog to the Ravens because of what the Ravens have done, and now what the Jaguars have done the last couple of days, last couple of games. And the thing that sucks more than anything else is Trevor put himself in harm's way big time, got himself ready to go to get back out there. And these injuries are really starting to pile up on this team.
Yeah, I don't think anyone now is immune to criticism. Everybody on that team, from the head coach all the way down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you cannot be in a game where it's 3rd and 1 and you need to move the sticks and you throw a deep ball.
Yeah.
You cannot do that.
Yeah.
You cannot make that play call. Okay,
this is back to hammering press time.
It's 3rd and half a yard.
And it's not me doing it either.
Okay, it's 3rd and half a yard. You need to move the sticks. Your defense is tired. You need to stay on the field, and you throw a deep ball.
Yeah.
To a guy who, hey, let's face it, if you got your alleged number 1 receiver, you throw it to him 12 times and he catches it 3 times, that's a big problem.
Are you ready for those stats?
That's a big problem.
Hang on. So it's not just those, okay?
Yeah.
It's not just that. The offensive line, which is a mess, got even worse in that game. But to be fair to them, he had enough time to make throws.
Mm-hmm.
Your franchise quarterback
didn't play
didn't play that well either, okay?
Yeah.
The only guy that really played hard was Etienne, and he had nowhere to run.
And they also didn't run him enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's
because he should have run on that 3rd and 1.
You look at that defense, but where is Devin Lloyd in coverage?
Yeah.
For the first 8-10 games, you're like, he's really improved. He's a different player. He looks lost out there right now in coverage.
Yeah.
And here's another thing, and I don't know what Antonio Johnson's been doing. if he's been hurt and he hasn't been able to play. But if he has been able to play, why the hell is he not on the field? Get him on the field.
There were 2 fifth-round draft picks yesterday. And by the way, if anyone sees Tank Bigsby, let me know, okay? Just let me know.
He handed the ball off to Travis, and he blocked for him on the touchdown.
Okay.
That was the only sighting we had.
Yeah, because 2 fifth-round draft picks have made plays. Parker Washington, obviously now that he's healthy, has been able to step up. Antonio Johnson certainly is a sight for sore eyes because you're looking for somebody like that. But back to the other part, Leon, winning at the line of scrimmage. What in the I know they've gone through injuries, but man.
Well, listen, when what you were talking about. Listen, if I have to see another 3rd and 1 at 4th and 1 and shotgun again, I'm going to go crazy.
Because it's an insult to the offensive line.
It's an indictment on the offensive line, inability to run the ball, bro. Bro, you don't get under the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 and hand the ball off. That means that you don't trust the guys up front interiorly to move the guys in front of you. That's man on man. That's man on man, push and shove, get a yard.
If you were on that offensive line and they call shotgun on 3rd and 1, what's your reaction?
I'm fussing. I'm cussing. I am. I'm fussing. I'm cussing. Listen, there's been times that me and Big Bo have come to the sideline. We throw the ball too many times to the Jaguars. We would go right to the coordinator and say, run the damn ball. That's what we would say. We would go literally to the head coach and to the coordinator and tell them, run the ball.
Yeah. All right, so you guys can hit the pop-off line, 207-7071. Mokama Beer Company bringing you the Mokama Monday right here on XL Primetime. Coffee every single day. They serve it up there in beautiful Fernandina Beach on South 8th Street, their brand-new Wildlight location. Also there, and then the craft, the great craft, Tuesday through Sunday. So make sure you stop on by Mokama. But I can't help it. I come out of this game, or I'm in the middle of this game, and I'm just thinking to myself, none of this makes sense, okay? A backup in Browning, an old man Flacco, guys that you should be able to take advantage of. The NFL's quirky. I know it ain't easy. I know there were other pieces that were working, but Amari Cooper had just come out of concussion protocol. They had already lost their big running back in Nick Chubb. They certainly had answers when it comes to depth with what Ford and what Kareem Hunt has been able to do. And then you take a look at the way that they have applied pressure, they've done a good job. Both Cincinnati and Cleveland have been able to piece together still playoff hopes right now for both of those football teams. The Cleveland Browns have played 4 different quarterbacks. What was the starts yesterday? 47 straight starts for Trevor Lawrence. Yep. So we're talking
Fifth
about
most all time for a number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, so we're talking about a badass rehab Stretch Armstrong human being. He wants to be out there and play. He doesn't want to put his team in a negative situation. He's going to do whatever he can. But he did not play well yesterday, and he might have been playing on a hurt ankle. I don't have any question that that's part of it. But he made some questionable decisions and some really bad throws.
To that point, let us go inside the numbers when it comes to his targets, because I think that will illustrate a little bit more of if Trevor actually had an abysmal day or not.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley was targeted. I swear, I'm not going to New Jersey till this weekend.
And we're not going to tag him, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, well said, Leon. Well said. Calvin Ridley was targeted 13 times.
Yeah.
He caught 4 passes for 53 yards. Zay Jones was targeted 14 times. He had 5 catches for 29 yards. That means Trevor Lawrence finished 9 of 27 for 82 yards, throwing to one receiver who says he's a number 1 wide receiver and another one who looked like a number 1 wide receiver in the home stretch of last season.
Right. Now sort this out, because targets mean you're throwing to that receiver, but are you throwing it accurately? Are you putting it on him? There certainly was a lot of chatter about whether or not they should have gotten PI calls at certain times. The defensive backs, give them credit. They played physical. Now, you obviously could point to 2 or 3 of them like, come on, bro. You should have had a flag come out at that one time. But it's accuracy, and it's those guys making sure that they come down.
Well, it's accuracy, and it's running the right route.
Yeah.
Of those 3 picks that Trevor threw, you cannot deny that Zay Jones ran the wrong route on the first one, the big overthrow down the field, which was basically a punt, and Calvin Ridley once again ran the wrong route, which we've been reporting has happened nearly every game so far this season. It just so happened that yesterday it was on a critical play in the red zone and obviously led to an interception. And Trevor said it postgame, and I believe we have the clip, JJ. They've gotten away with it the last few weeks. They've been able to cover up the fact that he's been running the wrong route. They couldn't on Sunday.
No. All right, fire that one just so we can hear, just kind of, honestly, that's what it boils down to. We have two quarterbacks that are coming out of the postgame yesterday, a livid Pat Mahomes, and he did not throw his player under the bus, and Kadarius Toney. And I'm sure Trevor's a little livid. Okay, now he's sunshine and he smiles and all that stuff, but he's probably a little livid at times.
But what week is this? This is week 15.
Oh,
Going into week 15.
You're going into week 15. You have a communications. You're going to have discrepancies between the quarterback and wide receiver in week 15.
It's number 3, JJ. Let's set it.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that does not make any sense. I totally get what you're saying, and yeah, it has to be better. And Doug Peterson making a decision to go for 2 more than once yesterday when mathematically you didn't need to do that. There's some things that either coaching or playing in execution drive a Duval fan crazy right now.
Yeah, I felt pretty good, all things considered, so that was a positive out of today. I guess that's about the only one. But yeah, I didn't, re-injure my ankle and didn't tweak it or anything. It felt pretty good. It held up. I was able to move when needed. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, just too many miscommunications. We've been playing together for a while now, and that's on us, and we got to take some accountability, for cleaning that up. And that's just stuff that can't happen, for both of us. We got to be on the same page. And it seemed like all those plays that we weren't, some weeks you're able to get away with it and it doesn't bite you. It seemed like this week they all did, turned into turnovers or sacks or bad plays or whatever, So we all got to kind of take accountability and look in the mirror. And, there's stuff that, I didn't do well today. And then just in general, we all have to communicate better. We have to be on the same page. We have to play together and just do the little things. I think we're overlooking some of the details, and I think that's where some of the stuff's going wrong.
I mean, the reason why I say week 15 because Calvin Ridley professionalism has to be in question. Because if it's week 15 and there's still breakdown in communication between you and the quarterback where you're not running the right routes. Listen, when I was in Jacksonville, when the offensive line had an issue with the running backs, the offensive line would pull the running backs into the room with us and say, hey, listen, we can't have breakdowns. When we slide this way, you go that way. When we take these guys, you got that guy. So there's no more confusion. Mm-hmm. There's no more confusion, especially this time of the year. You can't have breakdowns. You can't have miscommunication. It costs you games. Games are like precious metals right now, okay? Yeah. You can't afford to lose them, all right? And
he said what you said, basically, without throwing somebody under the bus publicly. He said, we've been doing this for a while.
You can't freestyle. It's basically what Trevor is telling Calvin Ridley, bro. Yeah. This point in the season, you can't freestyle. You can't run your own thing. And you got to be a part of the program, or you got to be on the bench.
Now, what was the one play? Because it did look like Calvin was wide open down the left sideline when Trevor threw it to the center part of the field. I'm trying to go back and remember exactly when it was. Anyway,
I honestly didn't think Trevor played that bad.
Well, it's
I go back to, again, let's go to this 9 of 27. Mm-hmm. Between those two receivers. I can tell you that was a great play along the sideline that Zay Jones probably should have had it in his mitts, but he didn't. It was a great play by the cornerback, so there's one. The 2 interceptions, that's 2. There was the other one where Zay Jones was blatantly held, so that's 4. Now we're already looking at 13 of 27, which looks a lot better than 9 of 27. And that's just the 4 I can think of off the top of my head.
And he threw it 50 times. He was 28 of 50.
They ran the ball 17 times.
They had 1,002 possessions. The game took 4 hours. Yeah. They barely scored. The first time they scored was because of a mistake that gave them the ball, the 10. Trevor was not good yesterday.
You can't get 4 turnovers in a game and not win the game.
And they ran with some success in the first half and then were miserable in the second half, either not calling it or not succeeding in it. And so there's so many bullseyes that you can hit throwing darts to the problem.
Yeah, because we only ran the ball 17 times. We had 74 plays. We ran the ball 17 times. Not including the fact that Trevor ran 3 of them, all right? Mm-hmm. So you had 17 times where we ran the ball. But here's the thing. When you're offensive coordinator and you want to get the offensive line started, get the running game started, you can run the ball on first down, you lose 2 yards. You lose 5 yards. You don't gain any yards. Man, that's discouraging for any coordinator that's trying to get the offensive line going when they're giving up penetration and losing yards.
They're down immediately.
Yeah, exactly. How about coming out of the half and immediately having a flag?
When it's 2nd and 12, 2nd and 15, you're not going to run the ball. Then you got to try to make up yardage. The offensive line is, listen, they're just as much to blame. Their inability to run the ball is going to either keep them out of the playoffs or they're going to be one and done.
There's blame on everyone right now. And the fact that you're 15 weeks into this and everybody is to blame, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. And that's when everybody is to blame, you know what that is? That's preparation.
Mm-hmm.
That's
okay.
That's
so let's get
so
to
we're
this
talking
part
about
of
up and down all season. It's preparation, man. You know why Calvin Ridley runs bad routes?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't watch film.
All right,
he doesn't prepare.
Let's get to this part of it. I don't necessarily think an angry coach is more successful than a calm coach. I don't believe that. I think a coach that inspires and prepares is going to be the most successful. I don't need to see smiles or them seething in anger. Doesn't matter. But is Doug Peterson right now coaching a good football team that is going to play with intensity, cleanly, and successfully against two teams that they probably should have had they played a great game if you want to just look at the game quality against the Cincinnati Bengals. There were a bunch of points scored, but they should have taken care of business.
They lost two quarterbacks who may or may not be in the league in 2 years. Okay?
A backup and an old man.
Yeah. I mean, flipping Flacco was at home. He's home with his family watching Netflix.
He was throwing balls at the ankles of some receivers on some throws.
Yes.
That's how bad he is.
Wide open guys.
Yeah, guys were wide open. They were wide open. And by the way, this outside contain is just driving me nuts.
Shout out to David Njoku.
Yeah.
He looks good.
He did look
like
good.
Derrick Henry, actually.
That man lost his face almost earlier this year, and he had 2 touchdowns against your team.
Well, the two things this team lack is intensity and execution. That's what it boils down to.
Okay, so
am I better? Can I be better than the man across from me? And am I going to execute the play to perfection to make sure that we make positive yardage?
Okay.
And right now, that's no on both sides of the ball.
I know that you created a standard. I know that you and Big Bo and the leaders created a standard. But I'm still looking at you saying that's got to be player-induced and coach-induced. These coaches have to make these players accountable.
No, these players have to make.
I agree. I'm saying both.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. But there's nothing like a teammate telling you you're not getting it done. Mm-hmm. It's nothing like it. And at this particular point, you can't sugarcoat nothing that's going on right now, because if you sugarcoat it, you're going to be home with Santa come playoff time. All right? I'm just saying.
Who on the offense is going to walk up to Calvin Ridley?
Bro,
you're not
somebody needs to step
Okay, let's get to the other part of this. There is you might describe Doug as on the kinder side.
Players coach.
Okay, a players coach on the kinder side. Is Trevor Lawrence an angry human being when it comes to other guys not getting stuff done?
An angry elf.
Angry elf.
He's competitive, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he is competitive.
I've never seen him sell out any other player, though, on the sideline.
No,
I mean, maybe he does that in the locker room, but I would find that very hard to believe.
But see, what I thought Trevor was doing in this game plan with a hurt ankle was going to inspire this team. Yeah. I mean, he didn't have to play. I mean, he sucked it up. A high ankle sprain and you're playing within a week, that's unheard of.
You're down 14-0 out the 8.
Exactly, that part.
Just call it an ankle sprain.
Yeah, it was ankle sprain.
Yeah, because, but just the fact that, and he moved okay. I still believe he had trouble, planning, throwing, all that stuff. Just he was limited. How about that? But still, it doesn't explain away.
But you know what would have helped him? A run game.
Oh, you better believe it.
That's any quarterback's an ailing quarterback. If you can run the football, you can take the pressure off him. Trevor had to drop back 50 times to keep us in the game. Mm-hmm. Come on now, that's absurd.
Yeah. All right, 207-70-71. You can hit the pop-off line. Definitely let us know what you're thinking, because your Jaguars have gone from a great situation. The best news, let's do the 10-10 take right now, JJ, because I'm going to at least give them just a little bit of a silver lining.
Now, Joe C's 10-10 take. Slow smoked and served up by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since 68.
A silver lining, you're always looking for one. You work hard in the beginning of the day, and then just things go south on you. At least you can head to Sonny's, get your good meal, and then start the second half of your day, all right? You'll find them all over the First Coast. But what came out of yesterday was that your Jacksonville Jaguars on a 2-game losing streak, when they really could be taking care of not only the AFC South, but a higher seed in the AFC. Both are important. The best news that comes out of yesterday, misery loves company, is that you had an L, and so did the two that are chasing you, the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. Of all teams to lose, the Houston Texans lost to a Zach Wilson-led Jets football team. He threw for over 300 yards. They beat that butt. C.J. Stroud had a concussion. We don't know how long he's going to be out, but the bottom line is Indy and Houston both lose, so you still stay a game and some change ahead of him. Little bit of a silver lining. That's the 10-10 take. That's all you can do.
Think about how far it's dropped. 2 weeks ago, before that game, the prize out there was the number 1 overall seed.
Yes.
Now it's like can they even win the division?
Yeah.
And if they do win the division, it's a playoff game against probably who? Buffalo? A home game against Buffalo, which is not going to be easy.
Or it could be it could be the Bengals and Cleveland again.
Right, with Browning again.
Exactly.
All right. 207-70-71. Jump on board. Let's hear it from you. What got you more than anything else? There's been so much as far as, what needs to go right to get everything else to go right. So let's just kind of get into that a little bit when we come up. Mokama Beer Company Monday. It's XL Primetime. Thanks for hanging out with us.